Look closely at this photograph. It's a standard Victorian family portrait. A mother, a father, and their beautiful young daughter sitting in the middle. They are dressed in their finest clothes. But if you stare at the daughter for just a moment longer, you'll notice something is deeply wrong. Her posture is unnaturally stiff. Her hands are pale and strangely positioned. And her eyes, they aren't looking at the camera. In fact, they aren't real eyes at all. They are painted onto her closed eyelids. The mother and father are holding the hand of a corpse. Today, taking a selfie with a dead relative would be considered insane, deeply disturbing, and highly disrespectful. But in the 19th century, it wasn't just normal. For many families, it was the ultimate act of love. Welcome to the unsettling world of Memento Mori, the Victorian era's booming industry of post-mortem photography. To understand why parents would pose with the dead bodies of their children, you have to forget everything you know about modern technology. Today we take hundreds of photos a day. But in the mid-1800s, photography was a brand new, magical, and incredibly expensive invention. For the average working-class family, getting a photograph taken was a once-in-a-lifetime luxury. At the same time, death was everywhere. Diseases like cholera, diphtheria, and tuberculosis swept through cities. Child mortality rates were terrifyingly high. A mother could have 6 children and only see 2 of them reach adulthood. When a child died, the parents were faced with a crushing reality. They had no visual record that their baby had ever existed. No paintings, no photos, just fading memories. So when the photographer came to town, grieving parents would spend their life savings to hire him. Not to photograph the living, but to capture the dead before they were buried forever. The goal of post-mortem photography was not to show death, but to fake life. Photographers became masters of a macabre illusion. When they arrived at a house, the photographer would have to work quickly before rigor mortis set in. They would dress the deceased in their best Sunday clothes. Sometimes the bodies were simply laid on a bed or a sofa, made to look like they were in a peaceful, deep sleep. But often, families wanted them to look alive. Photographers would prop the bodies up in chairs. They would tie their limbs to wooden boards hidden beneath their clothes to keep them sitting upright. They would place a favorite toy in the dead hands of a child, or position them so it looked like they were hugging their living siblings. If the eyes were closed, the photographer would physically paint open pupils onto the closed eyelids of the corpse, or scratch pupils directly onto the glass negative later. The result is the uncanny valley, an image that looks almost human. But your brain instinctively knows something is dead. There is one chilling detail in these photographs that makes them instantly recognizable. Early cameras required long exposure times. The subject had to sit absolutely still for up to 30 seconds, sometimes a minute, for the image to capture. It is impossible for a living, breathing human to sit perfectly still for that long. Parents holding their dead children would inevitably shift their weight, or breathe deeply, or tremble from crying. Because of this, in post-mortem family portraits, the living people are almost always slightly blurry. They are ghosts in their own photographs, but the dead? The dead don't breathe. The dead don't tremble. The dead are always in perfect, crystal clear, razor-sharp focus. They are the most solid, permanent things in the room. As the 20th century approached, the world changed. Medicine improved, and fewer children died of preventable diseases. More importantly, in 1888, George Eastman invented the Kodak camera. Suddenly, photography was cheap, easy, and available to everyone. People started taking photos of their everyday lives. You no longer had to wait until someone died to get a picture of them. Because of this, photographing the dead quickly shifted from being a loving tradition to a morbid, creepy taboo. The albums were hidden away in dusty attics, deemed too disturbing for the modern eye. When we look at Victorian post-mortem photographs today, our first reaction is usually horror. We see a creepy Gothic nightmare. But if we look past the painted eyes and the stiff postures, we see something else. We see a mother holding her lifeless baby for the very last time. We see a father refusing to let his child be forgotten by history. These photos aren't monuments to death. They are monuments to grief. They are the desperate attempts of broken people trying to freeze time, holding onto the illusion of life for just one more second, before the earth takes them away forever.